We often see teenagers or children with phones and tablets to keep them occupied, but is it really helping them in the long run? Today I will be talking about why social media should have an age restriction, especially in today's society. If teenagers or children spend more than 3 hours a day on social media, they double the risk of mental health issues in the future, says Lolly Sarvendram, in Why There Should Be Stricter Age Limits on Social Media article. There are so many benefits in children that don't use or have social media, like they have real life better interactions, reduced exposure to cyberbullying, and less risk of any addiction. Nate Bronstein was a 15-year-old boy who went to one of the most prestigious private schools in Chicago, says Megan Hickey on the CBS News. Nate unfortunately took his own life due to cyberbullying. Nate was and is not the only one who has been a victim of cyberbullying. 26.5% of American teenagers experienced cyberbullying in the last 30 days. If one of these teenagers were your kid or someone you knew, wouldn't you do everything in your power to protect them from doing or receiving something so cruel? Cyberbullying is a weapon known to many. Your words are powerful and can impact someone's life dramatically. Nearly 46% of teens have experienced cyberbullying, says Emily A. Vogels in her article Teens and Cyberbullying in 2022. Forms of cyberbullying include offensive name-calling, spreading false rumors, receiving explicit images you didn't ask for, physical threats, etc. 73% of girl teens have received unwanted sexual content. Now imagine if your loved one was that little girl. Someone who hasn't even experienced puberty is receiving explicit pictures or texts from others. The types of cyberbullying come in many different variations, not just verbally. There are approximately 4,500 cyberbullying cases per year. Now that I talked about cyberbullying, let's talk about the sorts of addictions you can start by being on social media under the age of 17. Some addictions that can early develop are porn, addiction to social media, drugs, alcohol, etc. Some things to look for in these addictions are easy mood swings, anger issues, depression. TikTok, Snapchat, and Instagram have played a huge part in this addiction. Social media is where so many teens get the influence to do things that are cool to others. And now that I talked about addictions through social media, let us move on to how this can detach from society and the world. Social media can cause you to be focused on the non-realistic lives people live. When scrolling through Instagram, TikTok, and Snapchat, many people often compare themselves to others, like influencers, without even realizing it. When we do these sorts of things, it can lead us to wishing we had a better life or we had more in life to it. Instead of focusing on what's right in front of us, without even looking at our screens. This type of comparison can lead to depression, body dysmorphia, and anxiety. To conclude my speech, I highly suggest to limit your screen time on your teens and lock certain apps. Now that I talked about the main points, let's review on what we can do to prevent teenagers from being exposed to cyberbullying, addiction, and having better real-life interactions. Talk to them about these serious battles that they will face. When you see kids that you know that are occupied with tablets and phones, try to occupy them with social or physical activities. So Hilia Riazzi created a petition on iPetitions.com that wants to ban children under 17 from social media. When you sign this petition, think of how your kids or future kids and how they can be easily exposed to cyberbullying and addiction. that later on gives them the mindset that they are not worthy of life. Nate Bronstein was only 15 years old when kids made him feel that way. A 15-year-old was receiving Snapchats and messages to kill himself before even learning chemistry. I encourage you to sign this petition for many other cases like Nate's to hopefully decrease the teenage suicide rates, addiction, and exposure to such a cruel side of the world. Thank you for listening.